Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Not really a figure review, but since I've been getting into the Bandai Star Wars model kits, I've realized, I'm not gonna get by with some of them without a little paint, without a little weathering to make them look, just right. So I've been stocking up my supplies. Being as busy as I am these days, I don't find a lot of time to break out, the full paint kit. I know it's not a huge ordeal, but just sitting down and getting the time to paint it's hard. I will say that I'm a little bit lazy sometimes, but just, hard to find the time. So I went out, try to find ways of making the process easier, simpler, quicker, just whatever I can do. I hit YouTube, found these. It's Tamiya Weathering Masters. And as far as I've been able to find, there's 6 sets. And essentially they're little compacts, for lack of a better word. They're little sets that have pretty much different colors and come with a brush and then an applicator, kind of a rubbery just tip on it. Now basically these are pastels. I've used pastels in the past. They're for very light buildup of a color, like makeup, some shading, but it's hard to build them up heavy. These, from what I've seen, are a little moist, so they build up faster, they're a little bit easier to apply, and they come in colors that are more useful than your usual pastel set. So colors like, sand, light sand, and mud, which I have a sand trooper that I need to weather up, a model kit, and maybe this will do the trick, this one kit. But I found all 6 of these on Amazon for a little under 40 bucks. Individually, they were $8, $7 to $8, so I'm a sucker for a deal. I decided to get all of them. Might as well go all in. Who knows if I'll ever use all these colors. Set B has snow, soot, and rust. Set C has orange rust, gunmetal, and silver. Set D has burnt blue, burnt red, and oil stain. Set E is kind of weird. It's a different color across the bottom here, and it says dry brush effect. It's the only one that says this, so I don't know if there's something different about this set, but it's yellow, gray, and green. Because really, looking at it, here's Boba Fett colors, so maybe I'll be able to use that there. And then finally, set F is titanium, light gunmetal, and copper, which I figure is, good for rusting up some droids, along with, the actual rust color over here. Like I said, I haven't tried these yet. This is my first go, so I thought I'd do it on camera, show how inept I am at new things. But we'll see how it goes. I also picked these up at Walmart. They seem to match pretty well with the applicators that come with these. I didn't want to keep washing out or mixing colors into other colors, so this was $2 something at Walmart. I figure it was worth it. Now, I'm going to be doing this on figures that aren't really in front of, the forefront of my collection. This Black Series Boba Fett, it's been replaced with the model kit. The Mafex is coming next year. I figure I can weather on this, or at least, give it a go. The silver on this is solid, it's not really blended in, which on the actual, movie look, it shouldn't be, but I figure I can come in with some of this silver and see what happens when I blend it in a little bit. Well, right off the bat, it kind of looks, and I'll try to take pictures of this to better show but it went on well. It looks just like the paint's been rubbed off to the metal on this corner right here, and it matches up pretty well with the silver that was already on there. So we'll see what happens when you just dab it on there. Actually, that's not bad at all. I'm kind of surprised it works so well. Yeah, it just looks like the metal is showing through. With a paint, you would have had hard edges, that kind of thing. This just kind of blends it into it, like a natural look to it. I like that. Now with the brush, it's kind of soft. It doesn't seem to want to pick up this moist kind of makeup to it. And then when I try to dab it on, it goes on, but it's kind of a powder on top. Just kind of blows off. And the good thing about this stuff, if you don't like it, with a damp cloth or just some rubbing, you can get rid of most of it. It does come off. It'd probably have to be sealed. More than likely. I figured it would be sealed. Now with Boba Fett, I always saw his jumpsuit underneath, at least in Empire Strikes Back. It almost looked like a mechanic jumpsuit, like he'd been working on something. So I'm going to take set B here with soot and see if this is too dark. And really, to compare it to something, I would say this is like at least with this applicator, it doesn't really get down in the grooves, so you're essentially dry brushing it. It's kind of just giving it the highlights on top, just a darker look to it, or kind of a dirty, murky look to it. At least with this color, it's, kind of black. Man, it's the same color as the applicator, so it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, that kind of works. Now, like I said, my original purpose for buying this set was to weather a sand trooper. This is a Black Series Stormtrooper. I have quite a few. After getting the model kit, I don't really need the Black Series ones. I still like them, but I have more than a few. So dirtying up a Stormtrooper is no problem whatsoever. So I'm going to try some mud. See what that looks like. I'm not exactly sure if this is the right way to apply it. Most of the videos I saw were, vehicles. So muddying them up, probably a little different. I think just going by my experience with painting action figures, the Stormtrooper and actually most of the Black Series figures in the raw, out of the package, are smooth. So you may have to put down a base of dull coat just to give it some tooth, something to grab onto. Although it's not having a problem really going on. I just feel like it'd be easier to control if I could get some tooth, where it, instead of just rubbing it on willy-nilly, just to try to get it into a spot that I want it to go. I don't have any reference material in front of me. I'm just going at it, see how it looks. And really, it's pretty damn dirty. I like that it's not, again, with paint, it would just be that color laying on top of it. Yeah, I've went really heavy, but you can still see that there's white underneath. It's blended in. It looks like it's just blown on and stuck there. It's not really just caked on. Now I'm going to try my other applicators here, since I don't want to mix the dark brown mud into the lighter brown of the other two. And it feels like the other applicator. I don't think I'll have much problem. It's bigger. That may be a problem. I'd like to find some finer ones maybe for some fine detail. Oh, light sand looks good. It kind of yellows it. In fact, I kind of like just a little bit of sand underneath, and then come back with the dark on top. And with this, if you go against your high spot, trying to avoid the low, it's going to work as a dry brush effect, essentially. That's just bringing out the details. I don't know if it's better to go dark with the base and then light over it, which in my head makes more sense, but or come back and, you know, lighten it up underneath. I always have a tendency to go too heavy on things. And again, this is going to take practice. I'm not sure exactly what I should be doing. Come back in and blend it in with some finger. When it comes down to it, it's kind of a tint effect, you know? It kind of just works in just dirtying it up, making it, well, in some places I've nearly made it a bone color, but I'm rubbing all over. I just dabbing it in, seeing what it'll do. And I'm going to come back in with sand over the dark on the legs, see what happens. And it's not great for the first try, you know. Went a little crazy, but I think that'll work for my sand trooper. But he's just been in the desert for too long. How's that? Now, since one of them's snow, I wanted to see what I could do with this. With the snow, I think with Luke here, I want to try just lightly going over and seeing if I can just get an effect of snow being on top. Now this is like stark white, so I don't know what it's going to do. Now the white kind of, I don't know, it kind of flakes up a little bit. Another thing about it, this kind of kills the sheen of, you know, the factory figure. It's not a bad thing. In fact, every figure probably needs to be dull coated. And if I try this again, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to shoot a coated dull coat next time. I'm still working on my model kit Boba Fett, so I'll probably do that. Yeah, not a whole lot to be seen. It may work better on dark colors. Now lastly, I wanted to try some metal, so who better to try that out on than IG-88. I'm going to try this rust right here. And like I said, it works just pretty much like a dry brush. It just brings out the highlights with a kind of a rusty color. See what I can do for his axe right here. It just kind of shades it to a, well, like a rust color. I also want to try this copper color. This may be a little bright. Oh my god. Yeah, the copper really stands out. I got kind of heavy there. It fell down into the crack. But you can rub it off. It's definitely metallic. Now, if IG-88 was a metallic color, or a copper, I would do the whole thing. But the back, I don't really. It'll be okay. And I can wash it off later. End of the day, my main goal is achieved. I think this will be a faster way of weathering stuff up. I still want to try some other things. I got like a Gundam silver marker. I'm going to come in and do the model kit Boba Fett silver effects. But this for blending and just highlighting and probably other things once I get the hang of it, I think this is going to work really well because I've been here 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I've managed to do half a figure in snow, some silver here, some copper here, and really half a sand trooper. And yeah, I know this looks a little heavy, but I think with a little practice, be able to do a better job, and I'll be ready to tackle the model kit sand trooper. Yeah, for a time saver, for easy effects, easy weathering, easy highlighting, I think the Tamiya Weathering Masters are the way to go. And this is just quick. I know I don't know what I'm doing, but I will. I have a lot of faith in these. It may be a little bit messy. The dust kind of builds up. You kind of have to blow it off. But I see myself having some fun with these. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you on the Fwoosh. I think I could get away with just using some silver just to scuff up the armor pieces. Just punch in that extra little detail. The jumpsuit, I think I'm good with leaving that just kind of a gray and let natural shadows do their thing there. Now, there is other places, like right here, I'm going to call it a keypad. That's all I know. These little buttons are supposed to be red and I think blue or green, something like that. And the rocket needs some detail work with the paint. And here, and the backpack, again, scuffs. But for the most part, getting silver in there would help a lot.